Welcome to RC Crawler Mods. I have another modification that I did on the C44, and as you can see, I've put rails on the side, I put a chain in the back, and I have different wheels on it, and so far it's been a lot of fun. Of course, we have Han Solo at the helm here, which makes it rather fun. He did really well, actually. I'm pretty surprised. And one of the things I loved was cutting all these little logs and putting them in there. So, suspension modifications, wheels, and that's pretty much about it. So enjoy the videos, and I will tell you more about what I've done at the end of the videos. I will talk to you soon. Take care. Good afternoon, RC crawler enthusiasts. I have another little project here that I've been working on, and this is the WPL C44. I've done a few things to it, and as they all need to be. WPL makes a pretty nice product. I've made some changes though to it. When you look at the videos, you'll see I've got wood on there, and again I'm going to reiterate how important suspension is. This, every single video, the logs were separate. They were not glued, they were not strapped or anything else. And having it bounce around and on this my little course, backyard course, everything worked out fine. So I did have one mishap where the whole thing tipped over. It was kind of funny. And I might put that in the video, I'm not sure. One of the major things I did to it was, as you can see right here, I put a chain on the back. I created some side rails, some rails in the front. I completely got rid of the plastic carriage that was in the back there. I thought it looked kind of hokey. So I personally like it better being able to actually see through it. The wood stain that I used for here was literally just brown and black India ink mixed. The reason I do that with India ink rather than a regular stain is because India ink will actually cover any of the glue marks. India ink is really great stuff. I did have originally, I bought a radio set, and it's actually a pretty good radio set. WPL, it's off-road. It's actually, I believe it's a 3 or 4 channel. I think it might actually be a 4-channel system. Nice control, looks good, works well. The only problem is twice I've had this wonderful little speaker go ahead and blow out on me twice. I don't know why. I've even got a different motherboard, receiver board for it and everything else. But this works out pretty well. Shocks. You know I have to talk about shocks. One of the interesting things that I've been practicing, originally I had stiffer springs in the front and lighter springs in the back. Well, once I put all this heavy wood into the back, it weighted it down too much. So this is one of the first RCs I've ever done where I actually put in heavier springs in the back. Now, again, I got rid of the spring shocks that were originally on it and put my own shocks on. I tried different wheels, lots of different wheels on here. And what I opted to do was, these are actually the wheels from the Q65 Jeep, Willys Jeep. And yeah, they're hard, they're stiff, but I just felt it gave it a little bit more of a realistic approach to for realism. That's why I chose that. I do have the winch on the front, although I have not actually hooked it into the system yet for the receiver. And of course we have Han Solo in the driver's seat there, and he worked out really well. He fits in there beautifully. So what I have is, I had to, originally this whole area engine was exposed, but in order for me to fit in all of the electronics, I had to cut that away. And the battery sits in the back here. And I'm using their stock batteries actually that it comes with, which are a little 7.2 volt. Let's see, I didn't even say with the amperage. But anyway, I had a lot of fun cutting these things and having them put in there. So, I've tried an experiment before, and I don't know if you can see it or not. I will send pictures. What I did was regular coil springs. I made my own coil springs. Yes, I have a video on how you can do that. For the back, I made them slightly stiffer, but the front, I made them transitional springs. In other words, they're tightly wound and then they get wider as they go down. And I don't think you can see that, but as I said, I will take copious pictures so you can see that. One of the things, the model went together pretty easily, although even though I've Loctited the differential gears, I've Loctited them, I still do get them slipping and once in a while loosening up. Just the nature of the beast. So in this case, what I have done is I also got rid of the panhard bar, because it was definitely way too stiff. And with the panhard bar, yeah, it's got some bump steer to it right now. One of the things I do plan on doing is eventually, see the longer length of the stay arms in the back and how short they are in the front? Eventually what I'm going to do is take these arms and lengthen them and put them further back inside the chassis so that it doesn't quite have as much angle moving forward. As you can see, it moves forward quite a bit. So I want to get rid of that. But I had a lot of fun doing the video on this, and the two-speed transmission on this works really well. I'm impressed. I've got a couple of, I think there's 2 or 3 spots where you can actually tell and hear and see it shift from first to second gear. And it actually can crawl, even with these tires. But the beautiful thing about these smaller models is when they do crawl, you've got to really know how to crawl. So these smaller WPLs and everything really do teach you to do that. The biggest thing, again, is the shocks. Make sure you have good shocks that allow good amount of travel and good dampening. Springs just make it a bounce. One of the reasons that if I had had the regular springs in these, all of these little logs would have just fallen right out. So I'm really pleased with the way that has turned out. And that is about it on this. I haven't really done much else to it other than shocks and changing out the wheels. At some point, yes, it would crawl better if I had better wheels on it. But it's actually a really fun little model. With it just a flatbed on here, I didn't really like it, so literally this is just pine that I had actually cut on my table saw. And you can certainly use hobby basswood. It works just as well. I don't even have these screwed in, I just have them Elmer glued in, so it works pretty well. And this was a $3 piece of jewelry that I got at the store. Little nails, just basically bent over and drilled and put in there. Next time, I've done a lot of work on my Gen 7 to get it to crawl, to really crawl as good as my Sendero. Still not quite as good, but it is really close. So I'm really happy about that, and I will discuss everything about what I did to the Gen 7 in order to get it to work well. So good to talk to you, and get any comments below that you like about this video, and we will be signing off. Take care.